I want to preface this by saying I'm someone who respects science. I appreciate the advancements it has given us in medicine, in technology, in communication, but I also think it's arrogant to immediately dismiss where flat earth thinkers are coming from. Now, let me be clear. I'm not saying I believe the earth is flat. I'm saying that I respect anyone who challenges the system of authority and asks, can I prove this for myself? That's not anti-science. That is science. Scientific methodology is not about blind belief. It's about taking the evidence you have, questioning it, and attempting to reproduce results under scrutiny. It's not about authority. It's about observation and testing, especially when the topic is as unreachable for the average person as planetary shape. The truth is, most people don't have access to a spacecraft to take a first-hand picture of Earth. Most people don't understand gravitational lensing or the mathematical modeling behind electromagnetism. And when they ask questions, good ones, by the way, like why don't we see stars in space photos? Or how does water find its level on a sphere? They're mocked, dismissed. That's not education. That's elitism. I've watched debates where flat earth advocates try to conceptualize extremely complex forces, from refraction and velocity to gravitational force, not because they're delusional, but because they're curious. And that's where I start to lose respect for the scientific community. Not because science is wrong, but the culture around science has become arrogant, condescending, and sometimes hostile towards those who challenge it. Think about it. The average citizen isn't handed a lab, a telescope, or a vacuum sealed particle accelerator. They don't get firsthand exposure to quantum tunneling or gravitational warping, and they don't know that. And they sometimes do know that. So instead of just blindly accepting uh, information, they question it. They rewatch footage from space missions. They go out and conduct their own observations over lakes, over flat terrain, across long distances, and they try to prove something. Maybe they're wrong, but that pursuit is still science. You cannot tell me someone's stupid just because they don't witness the moon landing and want to understand it for themselves. If they ask why should I trust a digital image that's been rendered through software? That's not ignorance or arrogance. That's caution. We re-render everything. We Photoshop everything. And if we don't teach people the difference between model-based rendering and actual raw data, then we're not educating them. We're manipulating them. There are historical precedents for this. People were mocked in the past when they said infections were caused by invisible microbes. People laughed at the idea of iron horses until they became trains. Everything sounds like fantasy until it becomes reality. That's why I believe it's healthy and necessary to doubt what we cannot see or be touched or proven directly. Yes, there are flat earth believers who misuse data. There are conspiracy theorists who mix misinformation with real questions. But what about the others? The ones trying to understand, the ones asking how satellites really work, or how Bluetooth signals travel, or how GPS triangulation functions. These are advanced layered systems that even most experts take years to comprehend. It doesn't make someone an idiot for needing clarification. It makes them a conscious observer in an insanely complex reality. So no, I don't think flat earthers are dumb. I think many of them are brave enough to challenge the consensus. And I think those of us who call ourselves scientific thinkers should stop acting like the consensus is some sacred tome, because truth, if it's real, can withstand being questioned.